Hello friends, my name is Dr. Jyoti Prakash and I am assistant professor in the Department of Management, School of Management Sciences, Lucknow. Now in this video lecture, we will have a discussion on current trends in e-services. We are very blessed to see the contribution of this particular e word, and let's start and start discussion on this particular aspect. So, firstly we will have an introduction about e-services. So, e-services can be broadly viewed as an interactive information service where services are provided or consumed using an internet based or electronic systems, and where the service organization and customers use the information gathered about each other to co-create a better service experience. Means e-service is somehow an interaction between the business firms and the customer in electronic mode, so that whatever the data collected, both the data can be shared by both the parties. Means the company has now manufactured and product and manufacture and try to offer a particular thing to the customer, and also communicate the information about that offering to the customers, and simultaneously that customer is also taking that information from this particular e mode and from this medium as provided by the companies or by the business firm. So, somehow we can say that it is an interactive interaction between the service organization and the customers that basically share data from each other for co-creating or for cooperating each other in order to attain the objective, attain the requirement of each one. Means obviously the firms are carrying or having the objective of earning money or earning profit, and the objective of a customer is fulfilling the requirement to acquire such sort of product and services. So, somehow we can say that e-services are considered like a interactive interaction or in the encounter between the service firm and the customer in such a way, so that they can just facilitate each other in attainment of the objective or in fulfilling the requirement that they have. E-services can be more specifically defined as the deeds and the efforts and the performances whose delivery is mediated by information technology. Obviously, if the service firm, basically e-services means the services are provided by service firms in by using the help of with the help of information technology. So, whatever the deeds means the course of actions and the efforts and the performances that the service firms are adopting or initiating in order to deliver that service or the product to the customer with the help of information technology, that is all about e-service. And governments and the public sector have also blessed to have the use of e-service, not only to provide service electronically, but to demonstrate value to the public in terms of effectiveness, cost and efficiency, as well as promote transparency. Means whatever government and the public sector are also using this particular e-service, and with the, they are using information technology in order to give ease to the customers or the general public, in order to assess the facilities or the services that these firms are providing to the customers, and they are also providing it at a very cost effective and an efficient manner and in a very transparent manner. So, in case of e-service, we should have and we should know the service marketing mix of e-services. Like service marketing mix, if we talk about the combination of certain elements which are basically considered by the service firm in order to provide full satisfaction or give value to the customer. Value is all about benefit upon cost, means whatever the cost the customer is paying in order to avail the service, and what sort of and what extent of benefit that the customer is getting by paying that particular cost to that service, that gives either value or not value to the customer. If customer is getting value, obviously that customer becomes satisfied, if not the customer becomes dissatisfied. So, being a service firm, that dealing in e-services, they should focus on the elements of service marketing mix. Obviously, service marketing mix means combination of some sort of element, and service marketing mix is a combination of 7 P's, and the first P is obviously the product offerings. So, what are the things come under product? So, it is basically a broad classification or the broad concept of product that are offered under the concept of e-services. Like there are 3 things here, government, business and consumer, and here 3 like government, business and consumer. If we see the first one, government to government, means between 2 government parties or between 2 the parties of 2 different state, they are also exchanging and they are also regulating, or they are also buying and selling some sort of services between 2 government. So, G to G, like central and state, means central government is regulating some sort of policy, and with the help of information technology, and some other government is, and the state governments are basically compiled to follow the instruction whatever the government is saying. Government to business means e-tender, governments are basically giving tenders, and as business firms, you just, if you are interested, you just invest your money and just raise your voice in a bid and try to take that tender. And government to consumer, like G2C, like information to citizen, online forms. Online forms are there, IT return or whatever information if a customer want to gather or want to fetch from government, they can take from some online portals. And if I want to file a complaint to a government, so there are so many portals through that I can access, and I can just write my complaint and inform the government about the things, about the problem that are facing on, that are basically faced by me basically. So, that is all about G2C. B2C, B2G means e-procurement, businesses are providing some sort of benefit and some raw material and some infrastructural facility to government. So, that is all about e-procurement. B2B means with the help of information technology, now funds are being transferred from one firm to another, like that is B2B. And B2C, like Flipkart and Amazon, means business firms are providing the services or the product with the help of information technology or with the help of this e-service to the customers, and we are very much basically adaptable. We become adaptive in purchasing the product from these portals or from these e-service providers like Flipkart and Amazon. If we see consumer to government, like online filing of tax returns, obviously we as customer, we as individual just file our tax return to the government, so that government just take revenue from those contribution, and accordingly they just invest that money in the welfare, in implementing different welfare projects for the public. C2B, like job portals like Naukri.com, means consumers are basically giving information and just sharing their CVs and resume to some business organization, and accordingly business organization take help from these job web portals and hired suitable candidates. And C2C is all about like eBay, Quicker, OLX, means if a customer want to sell out the used thing or the used product, they just give a picture of that used product, and other customer if having interest in that product, they just contact to the owner, and accordingly they just purchase, they just do the transaction of buying and selling. That is all about C2C. So, this is all about the things come under product offering, means these in product there is a vast concept, and the various things are being offered by one party to another party. As we have discussed, like there are 3 parties which are available in the market, like government, business and consumers. They are basically interacting from one another or each other from time to time and exchanging the product or the service requirement to each one. If we see the price is all about based on like overhead calculation, the target costing and the life cycle costing. Means suppose if you are ordering a product through Flipkart, so whatever the price mentioned on that, as per the product, as per the type of product that you are ordering, whatever the price mentioned on that, you have to pay that price for that. So, totally price is based on the product, or the type of product, and the attributes of the product, and the overall calculation, overhead calculation, and the target costing. Means accordingly, as a service provider, you just set out the price by taking care of, or by considering the overhead calculation, either the fixed cost and variable cost, and the overall costing that is incurring in making available that service, or in hiring some delivery person, or in implementing or purchasing or procuring the information technology or the software. So, these are some of the aspects that are basically considered combinedly while setting or while determining the price of a particular product or a particular offering that e-services are basically going to offer to the customers. If we see the place, the third element of service marketing mix, place includes the concept like self-service technologies, and by accessing the internet at home or elsewhere like mobile or desktop. So, if we see, place is somehow interaction or touch point where a customer can go and just get the required product or service. So, with the help of the self-service technology, means the kiosk and the ATM, these are self-service technology. If you want to withdraw some money, so you do not require to go to bank, means physical place. You can take the advantage of e-service that is basically provided by banking industry, and that is obviously one of facilities like ATM. You just go to ATM and mention your required amount, and you can withdraw. You just go through the instruction given on the ATM, and easily a customer or a person can withdraw the required amount. So, that is all about a place, and you can also encounter or you can also get the required product or the service with the help of your mobile or your PC. So, mobile phone, smart mobile phones and your desktop computer are also plays like a touch point or a source from where a customer can purchase the required product or the service. If you see the promotional elements that are being used by e-players or the providers, e-service providers, those promotional elements are like they are using blogs, they are using social medias, reviews, rating and reviews. In the earlier classes, I have explained the important role played by rating and reviews. Obviously, reviews, if a customer, suppose if you are just thinking to purchase a particular product from a website like Amazon and Flipkart, you like the product, and below you just go through the reviews that the earlier user have given on that particular product. If the review is good, obviously that your purchase decision becomes more stronger, and you just go through and you just complete that purchase process. So, obviously reviews work like a promotional tool and give somehow a complete information or the true information about that product, whatever the promises that the company is doing with you, that promises is they are fulfilling that promise or not. So, by going through the reviews of other customer or other earlier customer, you just get through and you just get the true information or the true fact about that product. So, accordingly you just made the purchase decision about the product or services or not. Videos are also available, so that accordingly you just think about either purchasing or not purchasing the product or services. Online public relation activities, search engine optimization, these are some of the elements used by the e-service firms in order to promote the services or the product that they are offering to the customers. If we see the people are in totality, if we see or if we talk about the people are basically the front face or on stage players and the backstage players, means all those employees which are playing on stage and backstage. If we see in virtual context, the customer care point and the customer call centers, through that you can get interacted with the people, or accordingly you can take assistant whatever you want to from that website or from that online or e-service provider. So, people includes all these aspects, all these people, means people include the employees either working frontly or backward, and the backward stage, those all come under people concept. If we see the process is all about process includes basically the website speeds. Website speed means if the speed is good, the process become the purchase process or the interaction process becomes easier, and you just feel that the overall delivery or the overall accessing of purchasing that service or product is good, the overall experience is obviously good. So, website speed is one of the aspect come under process. Being a e-service provider, you should take care about the website speed, that whatever the speed of your website, that will make customer either happy or unhappy. Device optimization, device optimization means somehow the website that supports your smartphones or that device that the customer are using or not, means the website should also available on the smartphone, so that a customer can go through and find the required things on the particular website. E-commerce optimization is how easy is it for a user to make a payment online. Can someone make a payment from a different country? How quickly can a payment be processed? Obviously, e-commerce optimization means the payment process. It can be done even beyond the domestic players or domestic customers. So, if it is good, you are able to capture more and more profit by implementing or by working on the element or come under the process. And conversion optimization is all about how many steps and how many layers or how many complex things you have introduced in your overall process. If you have lowered down your layer of conversions and steps, so obviously a customer feel happy and customer will find ease in accessing your website, and accordingly find ease in ordering the product or services from that website. If we see the physical evidence aspect, physical evidence is all about the proofs or the evidences that fulfill the shortfall of the characteristic of the services, that is intangibility. So, physical evidence are somehow those tangible dominant which gives a sense to the customer about the existence of a service provider, because if a service provider is dealing in E mode, electronic mode, so some sort of evidences or physical evidences should or must be available with that, must be associated with that. So, what are they like? Website design, website interface, URL, mobile applications, means the application of different e-service providers a customer can get through, and the customer can get an idea that through this application they can get access to different players or to the concerned store, and accordingly they can demand or accordingly they can order the required product that they need. URL, by typing a particular URL of a particular e-service provider, you can easily access to that website interface or the website front face. Suppose you just click on the Flipkart app and just type on Google www.flipkart.com, you can just see the interface, and on that interface you are just having the complete information about the product categories, about the prices, about the offers, means it is just like a store which have some interior or exterior designing. Means if we talk about the website interface, the color combination or the layering or the pop-ups and the blocks that they have used, they just give a sense to the customers about the physicality, about the existence of the e-service provider. So, these things come under physical evidence. Now let us have a discussion on the current trends in e-service industry. So what are they? The first one is voice commerce. Voice assistants like Google Assistant, Amazon Alexa and Apple Siri are becoming increasingly popular with modern consumers of all age of nowadays. By 2020, voice shopping usage voice assistant is expected to grow $40 billion in fact, because if you have used Alexa, you just give an order, you just give a voice about something, that particular player will complete that particular requirement of yours in fact. So it is one of the emerging trend nowadays, and customers are widely accepting this particular voice commerce. By 2030, research shows that there will be more than 8 billion mobile devices with voice assistant all over the world, and the level of convenience that voice commerce provide is simply unprecedented. Because if nowadays if you want to purchase the required product from a suppose Flipkart, we have to get through, we have to perform some sort of action, but with the help of voice commerce we just say, or just if we say a single word or single thing about a particular requirement, that gives the complete information about that. So that is all about the things about convenience, providing convenience, more convenience to the customers. Obviously, it will be increasingly trend in coming time, in future time. So, some of the researches shows a basically positive trend in this particular thing, that in future time or in coming time, whatever the mobile the companies will introduce, those all will have this particular voice, the particular voice assistant, that the customer will find convenience in finding the things or finding information about a particular requirement that they have. And consumer do not need a keyboard, exactly that I have told earlier, that the consumer do not need a keyboard or mouse to make their orders. Voice commerce is basically hand free, you have to use your mouth, means you have to just say a particular word and that requirement can be just fulfilled, and just a few moments, which is just multitasking of today's need, means all of your some of the requirement can be fulfilled with this voice commerce at very quick, and quickly you can you can acquire the complete information or the required information that you have. So, it is obviously one of the coming trend or the current trend that are used by e-service industry. The next one is chatbot. Chatbots are the future of e-commerce, along with artificial intelligence, machine learning and natural language processing, as well as robotic process automation. And chatbots are probably one of the biggest e-commerce trend of 2020. They are completely customer centric and allows e-commerce that they just understand the requirement of the customer, so that they just provide easiness and in every step of the customer journey about regarding purchasing a product or a service. Machine learning and artificial intelligence, obviously their contribution is very crucial, and they have contributed a lot in all the sector or in all the service firms. So, machine learning and artificial intelligence just help the companies in understanding the requirement of the customers, their wish and their desire, so that accordingly they just help the company in guiding about manufacturing and offering the services as per customization or as per the requirement of the customer, so that they just cater or they just fulfill the expectation of the customers, and accordingly they just fulfill the objective of themselves too. Next is contextual and programmatic advertising. Programmatic advertising uses database to decide the target audience. These ads are shown to the audience based chosen on the basis of the consumption. They are then retargeted after a period of time to generate higher ROI. In simple terms, it is about attracting the right audience to the right ad at the right moment, and compared to the basic retargeting efforts, e-commerce store owners stand a better chance of reaching out to a larger audience by using this programmatic advertising. Even in videos, artificial intelligence powered context advertising that they easily blend with the content are the latest e-commerce trend. Obviously, in the advertisement, we as customer are very much able to see in the messages that the companies are using, that is obviously based on the current trend or the current requirement or the current preferences of the customer, and the message obviously should be like that matched up with the matched up the requirement or the preference of the customer nowadays. Next one is augmented reality for product visualization. Apple has introduced an AR kit, means augmented reality kit, for its new operating system. In response to that, Google launched AR Core for Android smartphone. The augmented reality trend for the product visualization will see shift upward in 2019, and the adoption of augmented reality enabled smart devices will increase sharply, leading to a change in global commerce trend. Means somehow these type of technology makes or gives more convenience to the customers, and that is why they will obviously show a rising trend in the growth factor of these type of smartphones and these type of operating acceptance of these type of operating system. Next is Snap and Shop. A new commerce trend of imagine shopping will emerge. User will point their camera towards a product they see to order it from an online store. There are many photos app available like Cam Finder, and many more will pop up this year. This trend will also lead in selling affiliate products through photoshopping. For example, Pinterest has launched in its own photo camera. It recognizes and interprets images to provide an accurate product description. It has already partnered with many commerce stores and top search engines. It provides with the relevant data for classifying and interpreting images. Means by interpreting or by going through the images, you just being a customer, you just take interest and take decision about purchasing that product or not. So, Snap and Shop is obviously a increasing trend of new trend of a new commerce era. Next is drone delivery. Drone delivery obviously it somehow seems like a dream come true. Means we as customer have never imagined that we will see some sort of drone, means some flying things which will give information or which will make available the things. So, it is not as such using in most of the e-service provider, but some of the companies like Amazon and even Domino's are in the advanced stages of their drone delivery testing. Means they are in a stage of adopting this particular process of drone delivery. Means now in coming time or in future time, these e-service providers will take help of the drones in order to deliver the services or the product to the customers. So, these are some of the current trends of e-services, and these are basically some of the references. You just go through and just get more information about that. That is all in this particular video lecture. I hope you will like this video. Thank you, students.